Aloha, y'all. It is Tuesday, Tears Day, the 25th of April. The sun is at 6 degrees Taurus, the moon is at 14 degrees Pisces, Mercury's at 26 degrees Taurus, Venus is at 23 degrees Pisces, Mars is at 8 degrees Pisces, Jupiter's at 27 degrees Pisces, Saturn's at 24 degrees Aquarius, Uranus is at 14 degrees Taurus, Neptune's at 25 degrees Pisces, Pluto's at 28 degrees Capricorn, and North Node is at 22 degrees retrograde Taurus. So if you haven't noticed, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in Pisces. 5 possibly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. But that's a lot. So let's go ahead and get into it. But it is a Svadhisthana chakra day. This is your sacral plexus. It's in your lower abdomen. It is correspondent to your, basically your ovaries and your testes, your creative juices, so to speak. Keywords are happiness, confidence, and resourcefulness. Positive aspects are sociability, creativity, joyousness, and independence. Negative aspects are being withdrawn, destructive, despondent, and overly dependent. The mantra is VAM, V-A-M. So if you're doing that, do it in the key of D, VAM, right? Kind of like that. The spiritual activities are meditation, celibacy, and fasting. Essential oils are jasmine, neroli, and orange blossom. The plant is jasmine. Metal is tin. Element is water. Musical note is D. Crystals are tiger's eye, carnelian, and onyx. And the soul lesson is peace and wisdom. We're tapping into the creativity to get the juices flowing, to feel peaceful and joyful kind of vibes. That is the Svadhisthana or sacral chakra energy. And orange is one of my favorite colors, orange and green. I blame Michelangelo and the Ninja Turtles for this. I was always like, Michelangelo is my ninja, and he was a green dude with an orange bandana. I digress. So let's go ahead and get some cards for the day. Hopefully y'all are doing well. It is interesting. I woke up at 2:30 with my mind, I went to bed a little early without working out, then I woke up at 2:30 a.m. and I was like, well, I guess I'll work out now. So I did that from 2 to 3:30, and then I chakra meditated. So that was atypical. Got a lot on my mind, a lot of ideas going. So we've got the 8 of Wands. That's about how I feel right now. A whole lot of energy, right? So if you don't know, the wands are fire, the spirit of fire in terms of this suit. And if you're an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, you are a wand suit yourself. And the 8 of Wands, and this is very cool, having a Svadhisthana chakra on a Tears day, ruled by Mars, equivalent kind of the Nordic pantheon, Tyr. It's a whole lot of energy going on, right? So, 8 of Wands, taking initiative, striving for improvement, harnessing the available energy incoming. 8 of Wands, I can make this happen. And I'm feeling that. I woke up with I got some ideas. It's like having 6 puzzle pieces and you're not sure which way they go and which way they fit, but now I'm thinking I'm starting to make them fit. So the 8 of Wands, I can make this happen. The 8 of Wands shifts from the intense fiery struggles of the 7 of Wands to the magical glow of visions heading for the stars. A sense of the mystical has replaced the antagonism, very Pisces energy, moon in Pisces, Jupiter, Neptune in Pisces conjunct. A sense of the mystical has replaced the antagonism, and we can now see the light emanating from a luminous destination. The 8 of Wands contains a high level of energy and thrust which propels ideas and adventures forward. As ideas soar high, though, there is still much work to be taken care of. And that's kind of what I was thinking today. It's like all these ideas are great, all these places I want to visit, all these things I want to do, but there's a North Node in Taurus, a very practical and a sure-footed way to do that. Mercury and Taurus, not just kind of jumping into the fire and hoping for the best. You want to be aiming your rocket towards a goal, but you also want to make sure you have the fuel. I'll keep reading, it'll make more sense. Right? So the 8 of Wands contains a high level of energy and thrust which propels ideas and adventures forward. As ideas soar high, though, there is still much work to be taken care of. There is no time to just sit and watch the sky because this card demands very focused attention. 8s deal with structure, the geometries, while the Wands carry the raw combustion energy. Raw energy without structure becomes rogue energy, unable to be harnessed towards a goal or a purpose. Once you have the accurate geometry of your trajectory and the propellant to reach where you want to go, you can work with complete concentration. Your productivity increases exponentially. However, there's almost always a natural tendency when things start to move decisively towards a destination to relax into the ride. In this instant, you must remain focused on the important details. It is the detailing of a product, a work of art, or a piece of music, separating the wheat from the chaff, that makes all the difference. The elements of an idea can be created rapier fast, but it's in the details, the unique composition and interplay of the elements, which separate a good idea from a really outstanding idea. Very often, though, the detailing can be exacting and agonizing. Being willing to draw or compose something for the 10th time, when the 9th was good enough, or minutely adjust the bass on a track in an all-night stint to get it as good as possibly can be. This is the part where the final boost to get into outer orbit can sometimes empty the fuel tanks, and we hope we have gained just enough propulsion to reach the frictionless vacuum of space. Greatness demands a drive unseen in most people. As you work on an idea, what can you add, just a fraction of, to transform it from a good idea to an exceptional idea? Hard work isn't enough to achieve success. You must always be learning with the aim to continuously improve. You must be discerning enough to know what is working, what isn't, and act on what you discover. You must become skilled at creating the environment and conditions to make success inevitable. Right? The Eight of Wands. Taking initiative, striving for improvement, harnessing the available energy coming in. Now that I've been awake for a few hours, I'm not just waking up in the middle of the night and doing my exercises and stuff. I have a whole lot of energy. I'm feeling this already. So, Eight of Wands, really great card. Resonant to where I'm at personally. Hopefully you're feeling juice in your, fuel in your car or whatever, in your rocket. And let's get a clarifying card. We've got the King of Wands, or the Knight of Wands rather, Hanuman. He's kind of dancing around on the water. It's interesting because I'm looking into going to India at some point to get certified in yoga. And he is an Indian Hindu deity. I don't know much about him personally, but knights are action, so this is the action of the mind. My mind has been racing personally, and maybe this is another reference to that. But very briefly, the Knight of Wands is the fiery, the combustible part of air, the mind. I live by my ideals. This is about standing your ground, fighting for what you believe in, and surrendering what you hold dear to achieve greatness and being impulsive. So, with all this Pisces energy and with Taurus energy, North Node, Mercury, Sun, Uranus, and Taurus, I think we have dreams that we want to achieve, but in order to get there, we have to really structure and have combustion and impulsivity. You don't want that rogue energy, but you do need that explosion at the beginning to make it get going. And then you need the structure to keep it going full steam the whole time in order that you can make your dreams come true. We're not born on this spinning rock in time-space to sit and smoke weed and just watch the clouds go by. There's times for that. There's a season for that, even potentially in your life. Hit me up for a reading. Maybe that is your life's calling, to be the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland and just sit on a mushroom and smoke a hookah. But Alice had a mission, right? And the White Rabbit had a very different mission, and the Red Queen had a very different mission. So everyone's designed to move towards a higher dimensionality of being from this level to this level, and it takes your mind working quickly and acting out on ideas. So let's go, don't just daydream. Brainstorm, which is part of this energy, but then take the brainstorm, write it all down, and tweak it. And then good ideas become great ideas, right? So let's go ahead and see what wants to pop. We've got Orca, song lines. Number 30. It's funny because all this Pisces energy, the ocean is being represented here. Nicely done. Orca. Songlines. You are walking in the bloodlines of your ancestors, but you are an individual who makes your own destiny. Seek better communication with family. Nourish yourself and exercise extreme self-care. Share your skills with others. Mythos. In Inuit mythos, Sedna was a beautiful maiden who refused marriages arranged by her father, instead preferring to commune with nature. Her father had enough of the disobedience and married her off to the very next hunter who came along. Talk about impulsive, Knight of Wands, or Knight of, I said, it's the Knight of Wands. Did I read the Knight of Swords? I don't even almost care. Knight of Wands. So this is that combustion of the fire causing this to go. Let me just look back really quickly. This is what happens when you wake up at 2 in the morning, Jim. So I did read the Knight of Swords and not the Knight of Wands. I'll read the Knight of Wands now. The card of the day is 8 of Wands. And then the Knight of Wands is the clarifier. So we're totally getting a lot of boost in our caboose right now. It's like putting nitrous on a train, right? And hitting the button. I passionately set out to conquer, right? What are you conquering? Higher dimensions, new worlds, your hopes and dreams. Neptune conjunct Jupiter in Pisces, Moon in Pisces. The fiery part of fire. That's the combustion we're talking about. The Knight of Wands. In this deck is the Prince of Wands. Expanding your energy, rushing into action, leaping up and speaking your mind, and being bold. All right, so both were pretty appropriate, but I'm glad I caught that because I misread the card. I thought it was the swords for some reason. So we have this go, go, go energy, but it's like a matter of articulating that energy. It's one thing to have an explosion. It's another thing to like harness the explosion towards an end, like a firework or whatever, right? So we have goals, we have ambitions, and we have the energy to make it work. And hopefully we're tapping into that creative energy. It might even feel sexual, like tantric. So anyway, getting back to the orca. Sedna was a beautiful maiden who refused marriages arranged by her father, instead preferring to commune with nature. Her father had enough of this disobedience and married her off to the very next hunter who came along, a man who offered her much fish to the family. Very Venus and North Node of Taurus, right? Where it's like, you bring value to our family, so we're going to marry you off. Knowing his daughter would resist, Sedna's father gave her a sleeping potion to drink, and she awoke far from her home in the company of her new husband. The trouble was, this man was not a man at all, but a great petrel spirit, a bird spirit, that had disguised his true form. Sedna found herself sitting in a giant nest surrounded by thousands of screeching birds with no way home. She cried out so loudly in fear and anger that her father heard her. He sailed his canoe over the vast icy sea to rescue her from the nest. Sedna and her father were pecked by the angry birds as they began to paddle away, and the spirit bird whipped up a fierce storm that threatened to capsize their small vessel. In his fear, Sedna's father pushed her overboard, hoping this would placate the bird husband and save his own life. Sedna managed to grasp the side of the canoe to stop herself from sinking, but in his panic, her father cut off her fingers, and she sank to the underworld of the ocean. There she grew a fish's tail and became a mistress of all. Her cut fingers transformed into beautiful sea mammals, such as seals and whales, which are integral to the survival of all Inuit. Her guardians, the orcas, were her messengers and told of her to others. Sedna grants hunters upon the ocean a successful hunt, without which they would be in extreme hardship and die. She provides nourishment in this unforgiving environment if a hunt is unsuccessful. After all, there are no rich pastures or supermarkets to fall back on in the Arctic. Sedna is seen in her shadow aspect as vengeful, South Node Scorpio kind of energy. So hunters give gifts and songs to her as they set out on their boats. In Sedna's myths, good stewardship of the ocean's finite resources, North Node and Taurus, Mercury and Taurus, are necessary, and taboos are upheld to underline this, a lesson we could all do well to maintain. The orca is an iconic sea creature that has fired our human imagination, our creativity, Svadhisthana chakra, for millennia. Written about by the ancient Greeks and Romans, the orca is part of the mythos and spirituality of a number of cultures. Siberian, Pacific Northwest, and Newfoundland indigenous peoples all depict the orca as being integral to their spiritual beliefs and art. They honor the killer whale, especially in family or clan worship, and it is still part of their culture today. The animal. Orcas look very distinctive. Their black and white skin is immediately recognizable. Their 50 interlocking inward-leaning teeth are perfectly designed for both hunting and echolocation, and it's estimated that a fully grown orca will consume about 200 kilograms of food per day. They are highly effective hunters, thus the term killer whale, and they hunt in highly organized pods. While these members of the dolphin family are incredible physically, it is what scientists are just beginning to learn about their culture that is so interesting. Saturn and Aquarius, right? We're learning weird things about their structures of reality. Orcas live in matrilineages, meaning they stay in matriarchal lines. Great-grandmothers, grandmothers, mothers, and daughters, and my mom is with her mom right now, so there's that energy. All with calves travel in one very stable matriline that is usually around 5 generations deep. A number of matrilines may make up a pod that comes and goes freely. All members of the pod use the same set of sounds and songs. It is their own dialect. This language is an important part of the bonding of these families and in finding each other in difficult conditions. The final grouping is a number of pods coming together in what scientists call a clan. When clans come together loosely, it is called a community. While clans share similar language and ancestry, communities don't share language but do share territories. For all their savage reputation, there has never been a fatal attack by an orca in the wild. In fact, the only recorded fatalities have occurred with captive orcas, and it is not known whether these deaths were accidental or deliberate attempts by the whales to cause harm. Wild orcas have actually been recorded as being very friendly and cooperative with humans, assisting them to hunt. The magic. Orca magic can be raised by singing your own song by the sea. It is a feminine magic that can be used to help heal breaches in family relationships. Orca magic is also one that asks for self-care and nourishment. If you were feeling weak in your physical body or mind, especially with issues of vitality or endurance, the power of the orca can be called upon as an ally. Symbology is woman underwater with a fish's tail, woman with a spirit bird, woman with an orca, black curved dorsal fin. Their status is endangered, so let's try to be better stewards of our environment so they don't die. They're beautiful, huge dolphins. But they have, even in the myth, it was talking about the kind of the impulsiveness, the shadow of the Eight of Wands and the Knight of Wands is this, the dad just cuts off her fingers and doesn't even think. He just gives her away in marriage to try to kind of create value, North Node and Taurus. So we want to be moving towards goals and higher revelations, higher realities, but we want to be doing it in a way that's using that combustion, that energy, in an aware sense, right? The song lines, like knowing where we come from, knowing who we're grouped with, knowing how we contribute communally. And the community is everything from, you know, the neighbor next door in your apartment complex to your city, to your globe, to our cosmos, right? So we're all singing a song, and our songs go places, right? So, you know, it starts off simple enough, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily my life is but a dream, and then it, you know, goes somewhere, right? So we have this energy right now, this creative energy, Svadhisthana chakra energy, to be tapping into changing our worlds dimensionally, right? Bringing heaven to earth, if you want to put it that way. And that's going to be coming from your juices, the waters of your creativity, underneath Hanuman here, and the waters of the orca, right? The moon in Pisces is calling us to tap into our dreams. Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces wants us to imagine deeply. Mars and Venus in Pisces wants us to really see things as beautiful and hopeful and joyful, and it's all good. But we don't need to be passive. Taurus Sun, Taurus Mercury, Uranus in Taurus, North Node in Taurus. We want to be moving in a direction of value, passionately, in order that we have a, you know, our song is known in the community, and that it, you know, it helps others. It's almost like whistle while you work, in a sense, like little the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's a very creative way to use your energy. Whistle while you work. When I'm here in Costa Rica for another month, I've been here too, and every day I got to work 3 hours, which is like, you know, lifting things and hauling things and digging holes and all sorts of shit. I'm listening to Daft Punk. I'm listening to like music that is going to keep me going. It's keeping my juices flowing, right? LCD Sound System actually has an album called 4533 or something like that. That's how long it is, and it was sponsored by Nike, and it actually is a contour to a workout. It kind of gets up, gets going, gets into a trance state, and it cools you down. So check that out if you haven't. But we have the power, and these cards really do feel like that 4533 LP by LCD Sound System. Check it out, where we have the juice, the tenacity to go. It's like make it work. Disco out. That's like a disco ball of the soul. Move towards it. Shake your groove thing. Yeah, right? He's shaking his groove thing. Dancing around. Hanuman. But we want to be also intuitively interweaving with others in our song. It's not just about shouting. It reminds me of Workaholics. There was a scene where Adam DeManf's character thought he was singing really well at a wedding, but he was drunk as shit on Four Loko or whatever. He's just going, ah. It's like really horrible. Right? So we want to make sure that the power of our enthusiasm and the power of our joy, the power of our creativity is being structured for the group as well as ourselves, Saturn and Aquarius, right? So let's go ahead and get an I Ching card. I didn't think waking up in the middle of the night and working out would, you know, I got a lot of energy. It's like I've had coffee, but also maybe it's just the energy of the day. And I know I'm going through a South Node and North Node return this cycle. We got number 8. This is about how I feel right now. Right? Kind of flapping in the wind. This is like a conductor on meth or something like that. Kind of going for it. So, number 8 is as follows. By the way, don't do meth. I've never done it, nor will I. Jesus Christ. So, cohesion. We humans are individuals with different inclinations, problems, and standards, but we are all alike in the longing for togetherness which provides us with an inner homeland. And so too, you need like-minded company. Don't hesitate too long. Important experiences in life will elude you if you miss the right moment by arriving too late. Furthermore, your personal scope for action will remain limited. Consider the responsibilities involved when you believe that you are able to lead others. Think carefully whether you possess the right attributes. Otherwise, you will merely create confusion. It is only possible to speak of cohesive community when each member of the group feels accepted by it, right? When each member of the pod is doing its thing. Kyle, this is a general reading. Holler for a personal reading if you want. I can help you with that. But this is for everybody. I do these daily things. So yes, Kyle, we can all accomplish the mission. This is like the eagle has landed, or at least launched. But we have liftoff. We have liftoff. 8 of Wands, right? And with the Knight of Wands as the clarifier, he's kind of like dabbing, kind of. We have the ability to really tap into the fire of what? Our creativity, our sacral chakra, Svadhisthana chakra day. But we want to be making sure we're aware of others in the process, our pod, our clan, our community. Saturn and Aquarius, right? So you want to, this is like a manic conductor, but what is he conducting? Is he just doing music in his head, or is he like helping out a symphony? And hopefully we're all helping out a symphony with our mania and our creativity, and not just kind of sitting in the corner talking to ourselves. Last card of the day is very Neptune-ish. Piscean, I should say. Neptune rules Pisces, that's why I said that. It's Azurite. Look at that blue, dreamy little thing. Moon in Pisces. What it is, meditative and dreamy, but of course. Azurite is a soft, powdery to prismatic, rich blue copper-infused mineral. Who needs it? The materialistic, vain, and always craving. South node in Scorpio, North node in Taurus, kind of, I want more things, I want more things. The materialistic, vain, and always craving, that's not a judgment, that's almost all of us. Leos especially. Where to put it? And we do have a lot of fire energy right now in the cards, right? 8 of Wands, Knight of Wands, so it's not a Leo card, but it's got that kind of like, let's go kind of energy. So Leos especially. Where to put it? Alongside the spiritual shovel you're using to dig your way out of that prison of worry, indecision, and desire you've constructed around yourself. And that's why I woke up at 2 a.m. All this indecision, worry, and desires, and how to meet them, and are they even healthy, etc., etc. When to use it? When material pleasures aren't giving you the buzz they used to. When it's time to take a break from snapping selfies and chasing shiny things, you can shake off shallowness. Start with your breath, then dive into the deep end with Azurite. Explore your hidden depths. And that is the waters of our creativity, right? Svadhisthana, sacral. We have such hidden depths, just like the deep ocean that Sedna fell into. And I think the depths of our consciousness and higher dimensionality and our inner worlds, as within, so without, right? The higher you go, the deeper you go, the more in you're going, ultimately in some weird way, Ouroboros stuffs. Let's explore it. Let's explore it with passion and panache and style, but focus and follow through and steadfastness, right? North Node and Taurus. We have all this fire. There's not much fire in the chart right now, but Uranus is in Taurus, and there's a whole lot of Taurus energy. Saturn is in Aquarius, which is electrifying kind of structures, radicalizing structure. Pluto's in Capricorn. The world is being changed. So as this world shifts and dies, in a sense, we're launching into another world. And that does not mean you go into 17D, Orion Nebula. It's like you bring that energy here. You're tapping into it here. But we need to make that launch energetically through what? Our creativity. Some of the best meditations I've ever had are where like my heart and mind are being stimulated by not just like silence, although that's nice and restful, but like imagination and creativity. So make your rocket ship go, hit the nitrous oxide button, you got it, but make sure you're doing it for yourself and others. Like you're conducting all this manic energy for yourself and others, not, you want to be using it productively, right? And it says explore your hidden depths. So see what you can offer the world creatively. Everybody has special gifts. Everybody has hidden talents. Some people are musical. Some people are mystical. Some people are mathematical. Just said a whole lot of M's. But you see my point. So hopefully this made sense, even though I read the wrong clarifying card thing at first. It's not the Knight of Swords. It's the Knight of Wands. Tap into hitting your go button, right? It's like slam on the red button, pick up the Batman phone and say, it's emergency time. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Do it with zeal and passion, but make sure you're aware of your surroundings and aware of others, and ultimately in both being aware of others and exploring your passion and zeal, you're exploring your hidden depths. through your creativity. Svadhisthana chakra. Leave a tip if you feel so inclined. It's great for energy exchange. If you want a real reading, personal reading, for 30 minutes or 45 usually, really, more like an hour, typically. An hour of cards, basically, $33 for 3 hours. It is, I say 30 minutes. I don't know why I said 30 minutes. It's an hour. An hour of cards is $33. 3 hours of astrology is $88. And both is $111. And just know that's going to a good cause. It's help feeding me and helping me get around to the places I need to get to, etc., etc. So check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. Tomorrow we have an episode on Black Mirror. If you haven't seen that show, it's pretty fucking crazy. It's like a more dystopian Twilight Zone of modern times. We'll be talking about that with some essayist who's written an essay or two about these episodes. And yeah, if you haven't seen the podcast or heard it, Team Rabbit Hole, check it out. Started off as a Facebook page. 14,000 people follow it. It's got viral memes and stuff like that. So we shifted gears and made it a podcast. And we've had Rupert Sheldrake and Stacey DeMarco. She's the one who did the Animal Oracle deck. David DeAngelis, he did this deck. We've had all sorts of people on. Kai Lesher was recently on. He's an astrologer I like. Leo King. You get the idea. Richard Rudd, he did Gene Keys, which I'm all about. If you don't know about the Gene Keys, get into it. It's pretty fire. It's based off of human design and astrology, basically. So, thanks for paying attention. I hope you have a beautiful creative Tears Day. Tap into your juju. Make it work. But don't just coast. Don't rest on your laurels. This is about getting inspired and making the moves happen continually. Like, it's not just about singing a note in a song. It's about singing your whole song, right? For yourself and others. And ultimately, when you do your work well and when you do what you're called to do for your heart's sake, for creative purposes, for creation's sake, you start tapping really into exploring your hidden depths with Azurite, right? So, leave a tip, check out the podcast, holler for readings, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Adios.